Welcome back. I thought I'd make an episode for the season. It actually simmed quite a bit since our last episode. I have a lot to talk about. This one is such a cool season to go over. I've really looked forward to building the squad up for this season with all the older players that are talented. This was kind of the year I want to make my big run. As you can see, I'm 40-15, and that puts me in first place in the entire league with 83 points. I guess tied with Saginaw there. And in the East, it's looking pretty good. Peterborough looks like they have a strong team, and Kingston, which has been really good for a few years now. Kingston, as you can see on that top line, have a couple studs. They have two elite defensemen, a couple foreign guy. That guy was the third pick of the draft, and then they got the 15 and the 16, Cormier and Richardson, and they've got a nice looking team. That'll be a little tough one in the playoffs. I think they beat me last year. And then Peterborough hasn't been good for a while, but they have Ross, who was the first pick of the draft. And then this monster, who I don't know where he came from. He was the 8th pick of the draft, okay. Yeah, he is really developed. I've never really noticed this guy. This guy's a monster. So, that's a couple elite talents for them. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the last episode I did, but this guy freaking came back. Edmond Murphy apparently needed some more seasoning in junior hockey because putting up 300 and something points in 3 years wasn't enough. So he got to come back for his 19-year-old season at 6'6", 240 and torment the league even further. He's played in World Juniors and then he missed a little bit of time, but he is back for the playoffs and going to be a menace if we have to run into him in the finals. Single-handedly carrying that team. Look at his stats last couple years, just crazy. 54 and 50 goals as a 17, 18-year-old, and just has all the tools he needs. So, that's kind of the state of the league there. And a real quick rundown. Kitchener's really good too. They got a pretty balanced team. No superstars, but good 19-year-old center. He's only day-to-day. And they just got a lot of well-rounded players. Good, well put-together team. But I'm thinking my team's probably the favorite here. I got the most balance. If you look at my lines, I actually put all the young backups in for the last couple weeks of the season. I wanted to get them some play time to start building their chemistry. Zadkoff, the 16-year-old American winger. Wall's my first-round pick. And Zampero is my second-round pick. The setup man, they're looking decent. I think I just sat a couple of my good 19, 20-year-olds for the end of the season here. Just because it didn't really matter. I'm in first place, and I've just kind of given them a few games, not too many, not like 2 months or anything. Brenneman's up to a 16 rated center as a 17-year-old, so he's going to be unstoppable next year. It's actually a late birthday guy, which I kind of forgot, so he doesn't even get drafted this year, so he's going to be insane. He might be really highly drafted next year. He's progressed to a point where he's one of the best players I've ever had, probably will be the best player I ever had if he comes back for his 19-year-old season. Clark was dominant his 18-year-old year, but I didn't get him his 19-year-old season. And Brenneman's just elite offensively. It's as good as any offense player I've ever had with 2 years progression to go. And he's still a really good defender now. If you look at his stats, his positioning is the only thing that's not pretty high, but his face-off's pretty high, so he gets possession of the puck pretty well. Stick checking and defensive read are both high, two of the most important defensive metrics, so he just needs to get his shot blocking and his positioning and a couple like physical tools up, and he'll be really good. Already is. So he leads the league in points. He's got 94, on pace for a 50-goal season, or pretty close to it. So yeah, he's been super fun. And then Bear has put up a monster season too. He's got almost 40 goals. The crazy thing about Bear is his almost has potential. It actually just went up. It was 2.5 out of 3 before, but they upped it to 3.5. He is so well-rounded and probably going to be the best defense player I've ever had because he can do everything. He can check. He has some strength on the hitting, and his checking are high, and then he's got really elite stick checking, and he's got really good positioning and defensive read. So he's just an incredible 6 foot, 200-pound defender as a 17-year-old, just turned 18. And he's got incredible offensive skills. He's got good mentals. So the only thing he needs to work on is his skating. Hopefully he goes up a little bit. But I think same thing with him. Him and Brenneman, just crazy. Two of the best players I've ever had. And on top of that, the other 17-year-old just lights out too. And he might, scarily enough, be maybe the best of the three for junior hockey because his potential isn't very high, so he'll for sure be back for 2 more seasons at that kind of offensive production with his getting open and shooting, actually just an elite finisher, goal scorer. And if you look, it's really cool. His speed hasn't gone up, but all his movement stuff's gone up. His acceleration, agility are so good now. So he's actually 6'5", 227, can move really well side to side. He has crazy finishing, goal scoring potential, and he's got pretty good passing and offensive read, and he's a screener. So he's just got all the tools you need. And he's a big hitter with 14 hitting, 13 strength, and that crazy size. So he's got such a crazy toolkit. He just needs to dominate for 2 more years. That even if he doesn't really progress, he's just going to be freakish for another year or two. And him with those 2 guys all being 17 is the craziest draft I've ever seen. It's just insane the fact those guys meet together. I actually split them up for this season because I figured they didn't kind of mesh as well as I wanted them to when they're younger, because I wanted Brenneman and that big right winger I showed you to be the goal scorers, so I put him on different lines. He's injured right now, but he's actually the big 6'5", 227 guys in his third line with the top-notch defensive center. Joe, who's 19 years old, he's going to be back for no A season. He's a beast. So I've made it so the right winger, the big 6'5" guy who's injured right now, is the goal scorer, and then the defense player in the center. And then Bear is like the two-way kind of setup guy. And then second line, I have the older guys, Baker and Kellerman and Chen. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. And then the top line, I got Brenneman, the 19-year-old, really aggressive forecheckers, incredible all-around player, and then the setup man, Kuhn, to set up Brenneman for all his goals. And then on the playoffs all year, I had Kuhn as the point man with the top-notch defensive guy I got there, the quarterback on the power play back there. And then I got the forechecker here, Kellerman. I switched up Kuhn's at the setup point there, so I moved Bear up to first-line power play, even though he's on the third line there. And he's already up to very good chemistry with Brenneman, which is sweet as 17-year-old, so that's going to be really high. So yeah, I'm really excited. The big thing I want to talk about this episode is a big competition here. So for sure next year, I decided we're going to have to bring back Alistair because he's just so much better than every other defenseman I have. And look at his crazy production. He's got the best defensive season I've ever seen on my team. He's got 83 points. He's got 26 goals and 57 assists. Just a freak. He's just got such a crazy offensive game. So he's definitely got to be back as no way as a 20-year-old, because then he's going to be the big setup man for that dominant line I just showed you, the young guys. So he's one of the OAs for sure. He's a lock. And then I decided I really want to get Joe back. I gave him the A this year. I think he's a sweet leader. I just love his game. He's a third-line center, has a shutdown defensive guy with 16 stick checking and 14 positioning. Can hit. He's got size. He's got good skating. He's got good passing. He's just an incredibly well-rounded player. He's got really good mental. So I decided I really wanted to bring him back as OA. He's going to be the second-line center next year. And if you look here, we have the depth charts. And so I got, this is this season. So you can see I put Brenneman, the 17-year-old, and then the other 2 17-year-olds in this line. And I got the 2 19-year-olds here with Sinchenya, who's really good. And so next year we lose Kuhn. We're going to lose Kellerman, probably the other Kellerman. And then we're going to get Joe back. So if you look at next year's depth, we're going to have Brenneman on that first line again, the center, obviously. And then I can move Sinchenya up with him, because Sinchenya is a really good, kind of like a two-way forward. He's got a wicked all-around game. He can check. He's got good size and strength. He's 5'11", like 210. Really good energy, high mental. So I thought he'd be really good with Brennan as an energy guy and just a really good player to have on his line. And then the setup man is going to be, well, we'll talk about this in a minute, either Baker or Kellerman, and then as the other OA. And then that second line, I'm going to put the big 6'5" Beast and Bear together, and then have the defensive center in the middle. So I can make this guy the goal scorer, and then Bear, and they'll all be on the first line power play together. And then it's going to be really young for these last 2 lines here. We're going to have the 3 17-year-olds together. Wall's my first-round pick. Zampero's second-round pick. And this guy was like a 4th-round pick who's pretty solid. Nice young American winger. Called him up at the end of this year to give him some chemistry stuff. I thought that would be a decent 17-year-old line. That'll be kind of a nice little future line together. 6'5", 180 center will be nice with a 6'3", 190 winger. Those guys will be big beasts. But they'll be pretty young and not very skilled compared to these guys. So it'll be a huge drop-off. Those top 2 lines will be as elite as they come. and then these two lines will be pretty weak. So I'll really have to do a big difference in the minutes next year. These two lines will log all the minutes, and really need them to stay healthy, because even any of those guys going down really hurts, because like this drop off to the wingers after that is they go from like 14 rated to like 8 rated. So it's a big drop off. I thought, oh, I didn't show you, I traded for Friedel. So if you look, I decided to make a big trade. I saw this guy in the trading block for Sault Ste. Marie, and he was having a pretty good season. I got 13 goals already. And if you look, I got him, and he's already got 6 more. So he's a 20-goal guy, which is nice. He's on the 4th line for me. He's just got a really nice all-around game. He's a solid skater, nice agility. He's got really good defensive ratings. And I was really lacking on 18-year-olds. I had a lot of 17-year-old studs, and then there's a bunch of 19-year-old studs. So I figured in 2 years I wanted to kind of have an OA candidate, and I didn't want to just pick a random. I wanted a guy with chemistry, so I figured I'd trade for him now. And I had a 4th-line 19-year-old winger who'd been around for 3 years, but he just was not progressing anymore, and it was one of the worst. It was so crazy. I'll show you him right now. I've never had a guy that's this decently rated that just could not do anything. He was, if you look, I drafted him as a 6'3", like 170-pound center, progressed to 6'4", 225, should have been a beast, got really good puck handling and passing, but he just didn't develop anywhere else, and his defense is really shitty for like a 4th liner, which is kind of a waste. And he wasn't getting his offense at all, because he's on the 4th line and kind of playing scrapper minutes and wasn't playing with any good guys that he's setting up. So he's kind of a waste, even though he's really highly rated. Like an 11 rated 19-year-old is pretty valuable. So I thought it'd be a really nice, realistic trade, because Sault Ste. Marie was having a pretty good season. So they get a 19-year-old, and we'll see here how high he's playing on their line. He's up to... Oh, apparently he's not playing. What's going on here? Is he injured or something? Did I miss him? Where is he here? I don't see him, but it says he's dressed, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I'm just crazy. Don't understand. Maybe he was injured last game and he just came back now, so it's not showing. Oh, is he under center? Yeah, sorry, I'm blind. He's a 3rd-line center for them, so that's a really nice, realistic thing. He was a center, actually. I moved him to right wing, and he was taking forever to learn right wing, too. So that's pretty cool. He's nice 6'4", 19-year-old center, so that's pretty nice, realistic trade. And yeah, but if you look, that was what the crazy thing was, is I had him for a couple years. This year, it was excusable, 17-year-old season, because he was learning right wing the whole year, and he was terrible. But he did absolutely nothing there on that 4th line, right? And then the craziest thing was he still hadn't got all the way to like a high-rated right wing. Even all the way up to his 19-year-old season, he was still only 17 rated right wing after 2.5 years playing there. And I had all 19-year-old 4th line. I had a really nice defensive line. And he had a +2, and he was 36 games and only had like a handful of points, and it was just being so wasted. And so anyways, I thought that was a really cool trade, and it looks like he's doing pretty well for Sault Ste. Marie. He's got points 24 games, so just a really nice trade, and it was really good for his development. And he's just a guy who's probably not very happy being on that 4th line. My team was just so stacked, because I had him with the 4th line was nasty. It's Baker, the 19-year-old, who's just been like a 3-year 4th liner, just a nice kind of all-around physically developed older fellow that's just one of those nice guys to have on the 4th line of a good playoff team. And then I had him with Wilder, who's just a beast, and he's been a really good defensive player for a long time, and just love the perfect 4th line guy, and for a really good team. Normally he'd be a really good like 2nd or 3rd line guy in most teams, and one of the better players, but my team's just pretty loaded this year, and thought it'd be sick to have a really sweet defensive center in the 3rd and 4th line, these two guys. Joe progressed a lot more than Wilder overall, so I moved Joe up as a 3rd line guy. So he'll be back as the OA next season. So it's pretty crazy. I got those amazing shutdown defensive centers at 3rd and 4th line. I love this team, the way it's built. And so yeah, anyways, I had that sweet left winger that's 19. I just showed you there is Packard, and then I had that nice defensive center. So he was the 3rd 19-year-old. So anyways, he just wasn't doing much. So I thought that trade for Friedel would just be good, because he came in and is just a nice guy to have around next year's 19-year-old, and really nice 4th line guy, just a nice energy guy that has good defensive ratings. And then I thought he probably actually has pretty decent ratings. So I thought as a 20-year-old in a couple of years, if he's back as an OA, it'd be a really nice OA, because he'll be a guy that can has a really nice all-around game. And probably the best part about him I liked was his ability to play all 3 positions pretty high. So when he's an OA, he might be a guy that can move around quite a bit and actually even play some center. So he got good defensive ratings, and I just thought that was a cool trade. So anyways, I want to talk about that. And I we'll kind of just go over the goalie situation on the defense. Solarski has been up and down. He hasn't played great, but he hasn't been bad. It's up to 26 wins, which is nice. It's just he's gotten really consistent, but he's been on pretty decent. 885 is not too bad, and just a nice OA 6'5" goalie. And then I actually had my backup have a crazy injury. It says I thought it said I read it wrong. It said indefinite. I thought it said infinite. But yeah, he's just having a pretty weak season. He was at like an 850 save percentage. He had a couple late starts right before he got injured and really picked up his stats, which is nice. My team's so good, he was still 12-4. And see how low that goals against is, even with the low save percentage. But 880 isn't too bad. But yeah, like I said, he had really picked it up as of late, and then had that big injury. He's out for the season, which is too bad because I was thinking he might be the starter next season. This is a 19-year-old big Russian guy. So I actually signed another guy that I drafted in the import a couple years ago just to come play for a couple months as a nice backup. He developed all the way to 6'4", 230, and just was a nice looking player. I don't think he'll be back next year. There's no way though, because I got this nice young American who's grown from 5'9" all the way to 6 foot now, and he's got some really nice stats. I really like him, so I think he'll be a solid goalie for a couple years. We'll see. We might take one high in this draft too. So yeah, defense has been really good. Just defense has been funny because the defense stats are just so skewed, which I thought was hilarious. You can see that quarterback on the power play, Alistair, has so many more points than everyone. It's laughable. So if you know the plus minus is only for 5-on-5 hockey, so even with a line mate as Hickey, he's so much better plus minus than him, even with only like he was injured for a couple weeks, but plus 35, plus 16. And you can just see his point production is just insane. So even though he has crazy power play stats, you take away all those power play stats of 35 points, and he's all the way down to like, what, 50 or whatever, 48 points. He's still almost tripling, doubling everybody here on 5-on-5 hockey with the kind of similar minutes with like 23. He gets a few more, like I said, because of power play. But if you took his 5-on-5 production, it's just so much higher than everyone. He has the same amount of minutes. It's just insane. Like he's just so much crazier stats, and it's just, I know his offense game's pretty elite, but it's just funny. And he isn't like the role he's in. It's like he's a point player, so he is really involved in the offense. So I just thought it was funny because he's with a 6'6", 220 like defensive guy, and those guys all just have 15, 20 points, and then he's got 83. So that's why you just have to bring him back as an overager next season. He's just on such a different level than those guys, and as you can see, his shots pretty funny. He's taking 250 shots, and no one else over 115. So I just think it's hilarious how much crazier production he's had than everybody, even though he's had a lot more opportunities. So I love that aspect of it, and he'll be the power play quarterback next year. And just it's so important to have him back as no way with Brenneman, because those guys are just crazy offensive production. So they'll be insane to have them back. Highest scoring defensive player in the league, and then Brenneman, the OHL leading scorer, both back for another year, will be sick. And then I love Bears going to be with them and stuff. So yeah, it's just going to be a nasty line next year, even if the team's not as good because those third and fourth lines won't be great. But it's just going to be nice. And the last thing I kind of want to show you is John Callow here. Giangelo, or whatever you say his name, has developed better than any player I think I've ever seen. He's only got 3.5 potential, but his development is just incredible. He's gone up so much in everything. His speed's gone from like 11 or something to 15 in 1 year. He had a +2 1 month in speed randomly, and in train camp he went up. So his positioning's gone crazy. His shooting range has gone all the way from like 13 to 16 or something. I just can't believe it. So I just can't wait to see what he's like in a couple seasons. He's already probably going to be the first line pairing with that quarterback next year on the left side there, and then he'll go back to the right when that guy's gone and be kind of the new power play quarterback with that monster shot when he's for his 18, 19-year-old seasons. And the sweet thing is he'll even play when he's 20 because his potential's so low he might not even get drafted in the NHL. And my scout, I'm glad I listened to my scout on that one because, yeah, he's just amazing his rating. So he'll be back for potentially 4 more seasons, which was insane if you think about it at these stats already. Because, yeah, he's only 16 right now in a 16-year-old season, so that'll be insane. And, yeah, he'll be back next season. Joseph will be back, who's a really nice, steady, all-around defensive player. He'll be really good 19-year-old. I think I'll even have him back for 2 more years for his 20-year-old season, too. We'll lose Bianchini, and then we're going to lose Calbrith, the 2 starters on the right side after second and third lines. Really nice, steady 19-year-olds. This guy's come a long way. He's drafted at 6'5", 160, and he's gained about 80 pounds. or 60 pounds, sorry, and he's an 8th round pick, so that's been a really cool development story. Next season, Smiley's going to step into a starting spot, and he's a nice 3rd round pick. Had my scout always had pretty high potential on. He's gone from 5'9", 180 to 5'11", 198. Just got some sweet, well-rounded stats there. And yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about, this episode's getting pretty long, is actually, you know what, I'll leave that till next episode. So yeah, that'll be it for this. And yeah, we just got a couple weeks left here in the regular season. I'll probably make one for the end of the playoffs here. And hopefully I won't get booted in the 2nd round like last season.